Folks, we are back for a special holiday episode. Sensei, I do have my Santa hat. I'm going to put it on, bro.
Oh, I forgot mine, dude.
That's all right, dude. Mine's a little mini one, so it's like a, there you go. It's a holiday episode of The Breakdown. And listen, we're here to give gifts because...
I can't look at you with a straight face.
What, bro? We're here to give gifts.
You can't even see. You look like it's like a Russian hat or something.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Now, I'm Santa Claus here to give gifts. And unfortunately, Sensei, you can't be my head elf this year, man. We're supposed to be given the gift of Misfits boxing number 4 together, and you're leaving me high and dry. I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Listen,
I have no idea.
Gonna throw on the
I may have one idea.
Yes.
Just one. What if I told you, Sensei, that I brought in a special guest host? You'd be okay with that, right?
It depends.
Okay, well, what if I told you their qualifications were a win in the boxing ring?
Ooh, okay.
That's already
now
a W.
Now we're talking.
Stinging jabs, even more stinging and piercing blue eyes. I'm just telling you now, I don't play around with my guest host.
Okay,
so,
Wade.
Since you can't be on Fight Week, let's go ahead and introduce our Breakdown special guest host. She is 1-0 in the boxing ring. She is undefeated on OnlyFans. I haven't checked. I've just heard. Ladies and gentlemen, your special guest host for the Breakdown all Fight Week, it's Astrid Wett. Astrid, what's up?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. Piercing blue eyes. Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, I almost stuttered in the middle. I was caught because I don't know if on the Zoom call, Astrid is the big screen Sensei. I'm sorry, I made her the big screen. So I'm not even looking at you right now, bro. I'm not even.
Me out.
I'm so sorry.
I forgot you were even here for a second, Sensei.
You see this?
But no, yes,
so
Astrid
sorry.
is going to be our special guest host / interviewer. Astrid, you're going to be interviewing all the fighters on Fight Week.
Yes.
Talk to me about how excited you are to be a part of the Breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll introduce myself a little bit. So,
Yeah.
hi, my name is Astrid Wett, and I'm from England. And I am a TikToker. I'm an OnlyFans model, like Wade said, and I'm the only female winner to be on Misfits and Design.
Yeah.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
My fight was in October, and I won by TKO in the first round. But
Pieced up, Keely. Pieced her up.
absolutely battered her. But we that was honestly just the start for me, and I actually have a new fight lined up, which has been announced pretty soon. I can't say too much. But it's with someone who is more experienced than me. She's heavier than me. She's had more experience than me. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. But for now, I am swapping the gloves for the camera and the microphone, and I'm going to be joining you guys. I'm so pleased. Thank you so much for having me. But what I think I can add is obviously knowing how the fight is going to feel on the night and how it's been with Fight Week. But honestly, this card is insane. I feel like it's so stacked, and I'm really excited for January to watch it all. Everybody on the card is amazing, and I'm very excited to be on the show. So thank you so much for having me.
What an intro. Sensei, she's a pro, man. She's a pro.
And I didn't stutter. My goodness.
I know.
Didn't stutter. She's a beast, though.
If I don't be careful, I'm going to be the next guest host.
I'm going to say, we're going to just bounce this a permanent move. You're out.
Sensei's now the guest host.
But yes, Astrid's going to be with us on Fight Week. Like I said, she's going to be doing interviews. You guys are going to see her running around, talking to all your favorite fighters. On top of that, Astrid and I are going to be doing a special breakdown episode that you can only catch on OnlyFans. That's a joke. It's actually going to be on YouTube.
I was a bit nervous about what you were saying then. I was like,
Just kidding.
I haven't agreed
We
to
are going to
this.
do a nice episode for you guys and talk about all the fights on Fight Week. But today, since Astrid's already here, I do want to get her thoughts, one, on her last fight, because we haven't really talked to you since then as far as how you felt in that fight and everything that happened there. I was there, obviously, watching that thing in real time. I was just impressed by the amount of skill you'd gain in such a short time period.
Thank you.
And you like you said, you battered Keely. Talk to me about what it felt like to be in there for the first time and what you learned since then.
I mean, honestly, I thought I would be a lot more nervous. But it's difficult because, is nervousness a word? Being nervous and having that adrenaline is the same kind of feeling. So I couldn't really tell whether I was nervous or just really excited. But I feel like I did really well. I stayed composed because I kind of anticipated that she was going to come flying out, which she did. But yeah, it didn't really take much. Bless her. I feel really bad. But I just, as soon as it kind of calmed down and slowed down, I just popped out a few jabs and that was enough. I was kind of a little bit annoyed because I was so ready for the second round and I thought, oh, she's got no energy left. She is done in. This is when I can really kind of showcase what I've learned. But I didn't get that chance. So I'm very excited for my next fight.
Yeah, you made her retire on the stool. I was sitting there and I just popped over my head and she was not having it. Whatever those jabs you gave her.
I watched your YouTube video where you said like she was literally like, I'm not moving. I couldn't believe that. I thought she was really up for a scrap, but
yeah, she was putting on the best acting face possible. But you battered her, you get her out of there. You're now officially a part of the scene, and you know, Misfits is I would say not only your home, but kind of your stomping grounds. And in my opinion, you are the face that can be the biggest female influencer on Misfits. I have no doubt about that.
Oh, bless you. Really? You think so? That's really kind of you to say.
Of course. So, you know, working with them now and getting to be a part of this scene, I guess talk to me about what it means to you to be in the influencer boxing scene and seeing all these new people and having all these new friends and new challenges. It's a pretty dope scene, huh?
Honestly, it's amazing. And I've said to a lot of people that Fight Week was honestly one of the best weeks ever. Like, I just thought it was so fun meeting everybody, just hanging out with everybody and just supporting everyone. Like, it's just such a nice support network. Everyone who's fighting will always back you. And it's just such a fun thing to be involved in. And I never actually was a massive fan of boxing because, funnily enough, I don't really like seeing people get hurt. But learning about the sport and being in it is so much more than just throwing a few punches. And it's just, you have to respect the sport massively, and everybody that's involved with it I respect as well. So it's just such an amazing thing to be involved in.
You know who I respect is whoever is designing your Fight Week wardrobes. I definitely respect them. Definitely a W from your wardrobe designer there.
That to be fair, I picked the outfit out, but it was actually my trainer's idea to do that. He was like, just go out in stockings. I was like, you're insane. But we did it, and it was insane.
It was. No, you created some buzz that definitely stole the show.
Thanks,
but speaking of stealing the show, let's talk about, you know, the card we are all going. Well, Sensei, sorry, you're not going to be there. But the people that matter, myself, Astrid, we're going to be there.
You know what?
Sorry, bro. I'm just.
Next time
I'm,
we're in person, Wade, me versus you.
I know. I'm getting smacked up.
You'll be jumping in the ring next, Christ.
That's the thing. I talk crazy when I'm not around Sensei, but when we're in person, I'm all, hey,
those Twitter fingers are moving, Wade.
I'm telling you, bro. But so we do have the card coming up, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. One, give me your favorite fight so far on Misfits number 4, and give me, I think, what I would call a sleeper fight, one that you think people are overlooking. What do you think?
Me.
Yeah, you.
Okay. I mean, obviously the main event, KSI versus Dylan. I mean, KSI always turns up. He always puts on a show. It's always exciting. But I think this is going to be a real test for him. You know, Dylan's a big boy. And I don't think that KSI got to really showcase what he can do on his last fight. The 2 opponents that he had were just, I don't even know what that was. He just walked all over them. So, yeah, I do think that, you know, he's going in the deep end with Dylan. But I do still think he's going to win. I'm very excited to see that. Someone that will overlook, I'm not really that sure.
Slim Zanetti, Salt Poppy, Josh Bruck.
No one's really talking about the Anthony Taylor fight. Haven't really seen that much about it. But I do think that that's going to be a really good fight. Like, Anthony is such a showman. I mean, you were there when it all kicked off in Austin.
Anytime I'm anywhere with Anthony Taylor, I already know who's going to steal the show in the presser.
Exactly.
Behind the scenes, it's going to be him. And I think that's what's going to happen on Fight Week 2. Trust me, I know he's excited to talk to you. I know that. So we're going to get an interview with you.
Have you seen his Twitter?
I know. That's what I'm saying. My man is Astrid. My man is singing to you on Twitter. This is.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Down
new.
bad is not even nothing new. She says.
We're gonna get a great interview on the breakdown. I'm excited for that interview.
No, that'll be great.
Breakdown.
That'll be great. Anthony's the man, dude. But you're right. He's a guy that creates buzz during Fight Week. He's already started with that, and in the ring, that one's probably going to be one of the more high-level fights we see because
I agree,
Idris Virgo's a 12-0 pro. Like, he's a legitimate pro boxer.
He's a scary man, Yeah,
and he puts guys – we watched him on the channel, and he put dudes down left and right. So it's going to be a fun fight. I like that one, too. I think my sleeper right now is that Slim and Zanetti fight just because Slim is who he is. I don't think people give Tom enough credit for, one, taking that fight, and two, being maybe a little bit better than people are given, that people know, I guess, at this point. So I like that one. But on fight week.
I will say,
go ahead.
My sleeper, since Sensei's still here.
I forgot you were here, bro. Sorry.
My sleeper is actually the female fight on the card.
Oh, yes.
Really?
That one's something we got to talk about.
I want to hear what you have to say, because I would assume you did some research. I don't know the weight class. I don't know how close you guys are, but it's Faith, and is it Elle Brooke she's fighting?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, let's just say Astrid knows Elle Brooke.
I know
right?
there's some history between you and Brooke, so I want to hear what you have to say, because I think it's a sleeper because I think people might be overlooking Faith.
Yeah.
I've been looking at some footage, and I'm like, this girl's got some zip to her punches. So I just want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, because you're a female fighter, right? The pool is not big for female fighters.
There's
not a lot of names. So whenever there's newcomers, right? We want to. It's big. It's big for that whole pool to get bigger.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that one?
Well, this is the first time I've spoken about that fight. And honestly, I'm really glad that they're getting more females involved in the scene. And especially two girls that can actually fight. I didn't really think Faith. I mean, I didn't know who she was anyway. I thought she kind of come out of nowhere, but she looks good. She looks in shape.
Yeah.
I think she is going to give Elle a good fight. But I decided to give myself a little bit more training time, a bit more camp, rather than going on this card. And honestly, I think it gives them a chance to come through in their weight class. They are a lot heavier than me. I think it's like in the 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say that didn't look the same as far as the weight class when I'd seen it on paper. So
yeah, I'm sure it's in the 60s. But it was actually my plan to kind of maybe fight Elle in May or maybe later in the year.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen now because of the weight class. Like I think she's weighing in at 62 kg. For my next fight, I'm weighing in at 50 kg. So
listen, you're the queen of the scene. They got to come to you. You understand?
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, that's what I was going to say next. If the fans really wanted to see it and we want to make this fight happen, then she would have to come down to 50 kg. And I cannot see that happening. So we'll see how that goes. But honestly, with this fight, I think Elle is going to win it. I do think she'll win. I mean, she's been fighting for nearly a year with marked hips, and she's fighting somebody who hasn't really had any past boxing experience. I don't think she's had a fight. Am I right in saying that?
You're correct. No fight.
Yeah, she hasn't had a fight before. So I think Elle is going to win it. But, that's why I wanted to fight somebody who has had much more experience. She's heavier than me. She's had more fights than me, because I want to prove that I'm not taking easy fights and I'm here to take over.
I love it.
Let's
man.
go.
Look, you hear that confidence?
Yes.
You hear that, Sensei? Oh my God.
Since we're talking about you here, I had a question about your training. So how long have you been training for? Because I'm not familiar. How long have you been training?
With me, it's kind of been on and off. It's been really strange. I had a fight lined up in July last year, and then that didn't happen. And then I stopped training because I was like, I don't even know if I'm boxing anymore.
Correct.
And then the opportunity came up for October. So I had about 10, 12 weeks training for that. And then after that, I had a bit of time off. And I've been in Qatar for about 3 weeks for the World Cup. So I've been all over the place, and I've pretty much just got back in training now. So it's been really on and off, but I usually do about 10 to 12 weeks camp before a fight.
I love that, man. You don't see commitment like that. And even in this scene, like anyone really taking that time, 10, 12 weeks, like guys are Sensei, all about jumping in almost no camp, somehow these fights get made like that sometimes. For her to be training and just, even when she doesn't have a fight, being in a camp is so beneficial for this early on. Like it's beneficial.
So it's obviously early on. My question to you is, what's been the toughest part about training for you? About you're learning boxing, you've been sparring, you're in camp. You go from you're learning boxing and preparing for a fight at the same time. Which when someone's starting out a sport, typically that's not how it is. So you're having to cram everything in. So what for you has been the toughest part about your boxing training?
Honestly, the actual training I love. It sounds so weird, but I train twice a day every day. And apart
2
from
days.
Sunday. Yeah.
2 days.
Apart from Sunday. But I love it. I honestly love the training. I love my personal trainers. They're so unreal. The toughest part, I think, it's more like the mental side of it. You have to prepare yourself. You're literally going to war. That's how my trainers put it. You're going in for a fight. And I had never been in a fight before that, not even in like, in a club, little scrap with another girl.
No scrap, right? Yeah,
no,
right.
I'm not a scrapper.
Okay.
So I honestly was just trying to wrap my head around the fact that I will have to get in the ring and fight somebody. But once you get past that, once you feel like you're prepared and you've had enough training and you feel confident, that kind of goes away anyway, which is what happened.
How about the sparring? Because it's tough to find sparring for people who are just fighting, let alone influencers, like YouTubers and influencers trying to go into a boxing gym and be that influencer and YouTuber is tough for guys. And there's a bigger pool. I could imagine for a female, there's less fighters, right? Yeah. Less of a pool. How is it going in there and trying to find sparring partners and sparring people? How has that been? How has the sparring been?
It's hard to find girls who are up for it. But luckily, my personal trainers know quite a few different gyms in the area. So they actually got some semi-professional fighters in, maybe people that have just been training in boxing but never had a fight, to just come in and have a little like move around. So that was interesting and that was good fun. The first time I sparred, I was so nervous, but you kind of learn that if you get hit in the face, it's fine. You're not made of glass, like you're not going to break. So you just carry on. So it is tough finding people to spar, but that's
such a big thing that you understand, Astrid, is that some people never get that aspect, right? That just getting hit in the face is going to happen. Like, obviously, you don't just embrace it and be like, all right, just punch me away. But it's going to happen, right? And you have to be able to live with it and still function and still think and still move and still do the things you need to do in a boxing ring. It's so hard when you watch some of the newer people try to struggle with that aspect. It's fun to watch them grow, but some people never do. So
it shows too that you got to find the right trainers. That's what I'm hearing, because if you didn't have the right trainer, they can just send you in with this person or that person. If you're on the bottom of you have personal trainers. If you get like a big name trainer, you might find yourself 5th or 6th or 7th on their list of their personal fighters. And that's where it can get dangerous, but you don't get that attention that you need if you're preparing for a fight. So influences out there. That's what I wanted to hear, because especially people who are new. You got to find the right person to train you, the right environment, because that seems to be like a winning ticket.
Absolutely.
And what you said too, Sensei, it's not even just about going and finding the biggest name either, right? It's just finding the right name for you, because a lot of guys that have money and girls that have money will go and get the biggest top name guy, or thinking that's where I need to be. But the easiest example of pointing to someone that worked without having the biggest name is watching Jake work with BJ Flores.
Yep.
Like what they've done over there, and BJ had never coached anybody. Not one fighter before he had Jake. So it's like, BJ was high level, as a fighter himself, but he'd never coached anyone.
Yeah.
So Jake was his first guy, and they built a team around them over there. But, and we watched some of Astrid's footage, Sensei. I watched, some of the stuff with you here on the show, and then watch some other stuff after. But we watched some of her boxing footage.
His research. Wade's doing his research.
What footage?
Is a combination of things. Talk about it later. No, we watched some of her newer footage, and listen, it's like I said, she looks good. There's balance there. She's learning that right hand, turning it over that we want to see. That's like the second progression, right? You find your jab, which is obviously your bread and butter. That's the one you go to when stuff's going crazy or you need to settle something down. But when you find that second step, that right hand, oh man, it's so good to watch it evolve, bro.
In the beginning, you see the jab, and then you see the cross get thrown just like the jab. That's like the first stage. It's like 2 jabs being thrown. And then when you see someone could throw a jab and then their cross is clearly different, when their backhand is clearly different, then you're like, okay, we got something here.
Now we have something.
We got something.
It's all going on.
Now, I wanted to ask you, you just came back from Qatar, and this is not boxing related, but you were there for a bit. Did you have some fun in Qatar? You were obviously watching the Three Lions not bring it home, unfortunately. The Americans, you know what I'm saying, we did our thing too. England couldn't beat us, so it is still now soccer. How was your time in Qatar, though? Did you have fun out there?
It was amazing, yeah. No, I had a really good time, and it just felt a little bit weird being that hot at this time of year. But yeah, it was so good. Everything that I had heard about the country beforehand was like completely false. Like people saying you can't drink at all, and you can't do this, you can't do that. I was just drinking every day. It was kind of bad, really. But yeah, the football was amazing. I met so many different people. It was a lot of fun. But I was there for 16 days, so I'm kind of glad to be home now.
Yeah, getting back into the groove, getting back into training.
Exactly.
Who is the one person you are most excited, outside of myself, I know you're very excited to see me, who is the one person you're excited to see most on Fight Week? Any of the fighters? Who do you want to see and talk to?
Interesting.
Is there a rendezvous with KSI we're revisiting? Is that?
I think that is done and dusted already. It's done before it even starts. I'm excited to see maybe either Slim or Anthony, as I feel like I'm quite good friends with both of them. And I just, they're both fun to be around. Anthony, obviously, like we know, is
hilarious.
Very funny. Yeah, just entertaining. Maybe a live singing session from him. I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
A little live
Pretty boy, you hear?
performance.
She's asking for the live performance. Hey, listen, you know what Anthony used to do for work. You know
this? I do. Yeah.
Okay.
When I first met him, it was so weird. We were doing this interview. I can't remember who it was. It was the night before. When was it? It was during Fight Week in October for my fight. Okay. And I met him in some weird house. We went to this house to do an interview.
Oh, that's right. I did that. I did that interview.
Yeah.
Did you? No, Sensei, she's right. I did that. I did the same interview. You were probably there before I was there.
Yeah.
He was there all night.
You were in this weird house?
It was just a house in Sheffield.
No, listen, you want to make it sound really bad? She was probably the only girl in there, and there was like 10 dudes in this house. You want to make it sound really bad?
Yeah,
but what it was what is that? There was a channel. There's a channel that I've been on a couple times now. It's like a YouTube boxing kind of reporting news channel.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the channel, but they were doing interviews from this place.
IFL TV or something, ITV.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't Into, was it? No.
It might have been Into, actually. No, it might have been Into.
For some reason I'm going to Into, but
yeah.
It's
but
just
that's where Anthony and them were. What happened there? He gave you a little show?
Well, I walked into the kitchen and he was just being loud and American.
Yes.
But I can't remember what he asked me. He was just like, "Oh, like, are you someone's girlfriend?" And I was like, "No, I'm fighting." Oh. And he was like, "Oh," "Okay." He was like, "What do you do then?" And I was like, "Oh, I do a bit of this, bit of that." He was like, "Oh, well, I used to do that as well." And I was like, "All right." And then I think I gave him a hug. Like, we had this really nice hug. He was like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." And then I think I made an imprint on him. I'm not really sure.
That's hilarious.
I think you did.
But yeah, it was a good meeting. It was funny.
Question. Are you somebody's girlfriend? Just confirm it immediately. Not hello, how are you? What's your name?
Yeah. He was just a bit confused. He was like, "What? Who are you? Like, why are you here? Like, what do you do?" And I was like, I'm
it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see Pretty Boy and Slim. It'll be good to see everybody. But Astrid, as we leave off today, the people are excited to see you here on the breakdown. You're going to be doing interviews all week during Fight Week. You and I are going to have a sit down and chat about all the fights and everything else going on. Is there anything else you want to tell the people that you got coming up outside of the breakdown so they can be prepared for it? We'll give you that opportunity. And then if you wanted to send me some of those things personally, I could make sure they get into the right hands. What? Sensei, into the right hands is all I was going to say, okay? I was just going to make sure management stuff. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Ashley.
Exiting screen left.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. Apart from my next fight coming up, which can't be announced yet, that's pretty much the only thing that I've got going on and that I'm focusing on. Usually I would post a new, can I say it on here?
Did you say nude? What did you say? Nude? Sorry, Sensei. I'm my hearing, bro. I'm sorry.
My head went. I went.
What is it? What? No. Yeah, you can say whatever you can say. I don't mind.
Okay.
If we can't use it, we'll cut it, but I don't mind.
So usually I post on Pornhub when Chelsea win a trophy, or if England had actually brought it home, there would have been a new Pornhub video. But if I win my next fight, there will be a brand new video, and it's going to be crazy. So let's hope we win. I know I will.
Oh, we're winning. Hey, Sensei, we might have to train. We have to go and help train, bro. We're all a team now, Sensei.
Boys.
We gotta make sure she gets this win. For the competitive nature of it. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Just
all right then. Be prepared and on the lookout, ladies and gentlemen, for Astrid's new video, and obviously for her to be there on Fight Week. Astrid, thank you once again. We're very excited to have you here at the breakdown. We couldn't be more proud to have you part of the team, and I know you're going to smash it on Fight Week. But folks, there she is, Astrid Wett. You will see her all during Fight Week. You'll see her with me. You'll see her with all the interviews. I cannot wait. Sensei, unfortunately, we won't see you, but we'll be there in spirit, and Sensei will be running socials, so you guys will see.
Yeah, you'll see me on socials.
Yeah.
Thank
He'll be
you so
doing
much
his
for
thing.
having me. No, honestly, I'm really excited. And I'm very sorry, Sensei. I know I can't replace you, but I'll do my best to do the show proud.
Appreciate it.
Nah, Sensei, you out, dog. I'm sorry. Yes, there it is, folks. There she is, Astrid Wett. Astrid, appreciate you coming on.